Hi guys, I wanted to talk about what makes a story feminist, and are Chicana stories are they feminist? In my opinion, what makes a story feminist are the themes that you will find in their literature and in their stories or poems or movies for that matter. Um, Typical themes that I've found for a feminist story are perseverance through inequality, motherhood, changing the view upon women, stereotypes and breaking that, um, and then the culture, obviously. If if a story has multiple of these themes, actually most feminist stories have used a chunk of all these themes to break into their story, and they can all kind of be in the story depending on the length of it or what they want to say. Um, as far as culture, in a feminist story, I have an example here from Infinite Divisions. Chicana writers closely build a world closely to hearth and home, but also adventurous, daring, and non-conforming. The non-conforming thing was important to me because it basically says that they um, do not follow the typical rules that have been laid upon them by men, and that they do their own thing. They're not going to be in the kitchen. They're not going to be um, doing the housework. They're not going to be taking care of the kids. It's like they can they are capable of so much more than that. They can learn. Um, they can basically do it anything they set their minds to. And I thought that was that's the culture of a feminist story, is that just because a man tells you you can't do something doesn't mean that it's true. And another theme I found with feminist stories is motherhood. Um, an example would be from Simplicities and Infinite Division's book. White curtains on my kitchen window fill me with happiness. This is kind of like an old school motherhood thing, but in this story she's talking about her kids and her kind of like white picket fence life that a lot of mothers had back in the day, where they took care of the kids, they did the laundry, they did the cooking, they did the cleaning, and at this particular person says it does fill her with happiness, um, but that's kind of like a thing with motherhood is they mention that even though um, that's kind of like what all they're capable of. Just some stereotypes is that women can only be mothers. They don't know how to do stuff. They're not physically capable of it, or blah 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 other stereotypes, which is completely false. Um, so yeah, that's another uh, theme I've found in feminist stories is the motherhood and the expectations that are put on them by men. And then also just regular stereotypes, negative stereotypes that um, basically from jobs to expectations by men, and basically setting a system for what a woman should do, and what makes a quote unquote good woman. Um, an example from this would be the three sisters story, Infinite Divisions. Now these girls all had a defect speech, which caused them to speak with a sniffle, and because of this, none of them had ever been able to get a husband, which is purely ridiculous. That would cause them not to be desirable or attractive, because all women are beautiful, but um, in a feminist story, they want to talk about the stereotypes that are put on them for their looks, for their actions. A lot of women a lot of men desire these picture perfect women that you'll see in like uh models or whatever. That's all women bring to the table is this just their looks. Like, they don't have their own personality, or um they don't have smarts or anything else to bring to the relationship. That it's all just looks. And motherhood, I guess, would also be an expectation put on by men, that once they have kids, it's expected that the mother either stops her job or takes care of the kids while the father goes out and works, which is another stereotype that is completely false. It could be the other way around, or it could be uh, where both parents work. But the idea that this one little I wouldn't even say it's an issue, just one little trait that these women had makes them undesirable is the set foundations set by men, that a good woman is a pretty woman, and she is does does what the men say, which is completely ridiculous. um, I also found that in the stories of feminist stories, that they'll bring up stereotypes that have been placed on them by men. And then another theme that I found in feminist stories are perseverance through inequality, um, particularly in the world of literature. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of perseverance by women through basically everything they've had to do: sports, being able to vote, um, being able to learn, being accept and being able to work and also be paid fairly. They've had to persevere through a lot of inequality that was wrong. Also, select jobs. They could only be nurses or intern, or the people answer the phone. I don't know what that job's called, but that's kind of like the only jobs that were expected of them, or like were okay with men's. Like, okay, yeah, you can have that job, but you can't be a doctor, you can't be a engineer, you can't be a astronaut. These are and stuff that's inequality is just not true. Um, an example of that would be drama in the early mornings. It's an Infinite Divisions uh, uh, poem. Understood I had been allowed to see this beautiful drama, where the mom is showing her daughter a beautiful scene that I think she probably wrote about in a poem, or in a literature. Excuse me. And the daughter is now bringing that story to life, because at the time women didn't have the freedom to express their literature genius. And now that it's been some time and women have gained more freedom, this daughter is now bringing her mother's story to life, and showing that this woman was literature genius and was very capable of writing beautiful poems and stuff like that. As far as our Chicanas and Latina stories feminist, I would say yes, if they include most of these themes. One theme that I found a lot of in the Infinite Divisions book, and that I don't think is feminist, is religion. I think I don't think that religion poems or literature where they bring up the idea of God and Christianity or Catholic is a feminist story. I think that's just a religious story. You know, perhaps maybe it could be a feminist story if uh, perhaps it could be a feminist story if they reference female disciples in the Bible or something like that, but I haven't found that to be the case. So yeah, this is my reasons why, or what makes a story feminist. Thank you.